now. I think we should be on. And we are on, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming. We are live. We're live using the powers of the internet. Guys, there's no easy way to talk about this. Dark forces, I believe, are in control of the United Kingdom right now. I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to give to you guys evidence that the only way that we can make sense of things, right? If you live in the United Kingdom, the only way that you can make sense of things is to come to the acceptance that dark forces are in control of the UK. Anything else doesn't make sense, guys. I'm all about making sense. Also, whatever is happening around the world, it does seem like the United Kingdom right now is ground zero. We have this totalitarian state rising. We have the absolute degradation and squashing of civil rights. Like, if you live in the United Kingdom right now, it just feels like you're being like suffocated constantly. That's what life feels like if you're in the United Kingdom. So we're going to be talking about that. I've also got a couple of wild things to play for you guys. So it turns out that one of the Taliban leaders' nephews or something, he's applied to come and live in the United Kingdom, and he's been accepted. And I think his 7 wives or something, or like 7 family members, they've just been accepted as well. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, these people will never have to work. Do you know why? Because we got them. We got them. We got your Taliban, your ex-Taliban. You've done real bad things to people. Don't worry. We've got you. The British taxpayers have got you. But look, guys, this reminds me right now, when I'm talking about the Labour speech, the Labour conference, the Labour speeches that were speaking today in, was it Liverpool? I think it was Liverpool, yeah. It reminds me of the scene in Star Wars. So there's a scene in Star Wars, I'll play it for you guys in a minute. There's a scene in Star Wars where Senator Palpatine takes control of the Senate and he's going, yes, to provide everyone with security and stability, I am forming the first galactic empire. And everybody's going, oh, brilliant, Senator Palpatine, brilliant, Senator Palpatine. And then the Jedi have been smashed. They're all in hiding. Anakin's turned into Darth Vader. Obi-Wan has to go and fight him. Yoda has to go and fight Senator Palpatine, but Yoda's not strong enough. It is catastrophic. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about this evening. That's what we're talking about today. I will get you guys comments relatively soon, but I just want to read through this, guys, right? So this is out from today, okay? This is Conscription 101. This is going to push young people into conscription. This is going to push young people into the military. Be under no illusion, ladies and gentlemen, that is what this is going to do. I spoke about this earlier on the live stream this morning. When I was speaking about it this morning, it had not come out in the mainstream, but it had. Sorry. Rewind, backtrack a little bit, Raven. When I spoke about it this morning, Rachel Reeves had not done her speech. She's done her speech now, and I can confirm, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a headline from The Independent. This is not me speculating, ladies and gentlemen. This is a mainstream headline, okay? Young people have to have benefits stripped. That's obviously, if you don't live in the United Kingdom, that is like social security, free money and stuff. Young people to have benefits stripped if they turn down work under Rachel Reeves's plan to tackle unemployment. The Chancellor will unveil the youth guarantee, meaning every young person who has been on universal credit for 18 months will be offered paid work. And then, that's mandatory ID. But then if they turn it down, they may be sanctioned. Now, look, guys, we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands. We have hundreds of thousands of hundreds of thousands of young people right now in the United Kingdom who are not in work. That's the reality. Now, the reality of that is because the government have destroyed the jobs market. That's the reality. Now, Rachel Reeves is saying they're going to offer these hundreds of thousands of people jobs. Call me picky, ladies and gentlemen. Call me pedantic. Call me pedantic. But as far as I'm concerned, 2 + 2 = 4, not 5, not 3, not 70,000. So I don't think there are enough jobs to go around. So where are they going to put these people? Where are they going to put them? Where are they going to offer these people work? I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, the only, listen, guys, look, you know what? Forget about me promising. Where else, who else can take that amount of numbers of people, so many? Do you see what I mean? Where can you get that many jobs at once? There really is only the military. And by the beard of Zeus and Odin's eye, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on right now, if you guys are on right now, can you remember a couple of Jesus? It's coming off. It's off. Right. Can you remember? I've just thought of this now, guys. This is why you guys follow my channel, because you guys want to be kept up to date on what's happening in the future. You don't want to be gaslit about what's happening today. You guys want to know what's happening in the future, right? Can you guys remember a couple of months back, I did a video? Jesus. It's all making sense. I'm going to get a glass of wine, guys. Guys, the hairs on my hand have gone up. Right. Can you guys remember a couple of months back? Please put it in the chat. Please put it in the chat, guys, if you can remember me saying this. A couple of months back, I was saying to you guys, I was saying, listen, I'd be speaking to some people who are in the military and they're going through their training. I had a friend who his son's going through infantry training center. And I was talking about how the infantry training center have restructured so they can take masses of people now. So before, the system was, if you wanted to be a paratrooper, you would go and do a parachute regiment train. I think that is actually still the case, though, with parachute regiment and guards. If you wanted to be in the Yorkshire regiment, you would go and get trained by the Yorkshire regiment. If you know, and that's how it used to work. Now it's just block. Everybody's doing it now. And I did a video a couple of months ago. I wish I could get it, guys, on the thing and share it with you. I did a video. It was a lot. I've done quite a bit of content about it. I've done videos and live streams in here, sat in here, where I've been saying that the military have restructured themselves now to take masses of people. Masses. So that was back then. Now, fast forward, we are getting the groundwork. We are seeing the breadcrumbs where young people will be offered jobs in the military. And if they say no, all right, you don't want to go to the military. No, right, you're having no money. We're not forcing anyone into the military. We're just gonna ostracize them out of society. Jesus, guys, I can't believe that's only just come to me. So much information has been passing through, guys. So much information has been passing through. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about today, guys. It happened. It got passed through government in the United Kingdom. Craziness. People are clapping. People are clapping like absolute buffoons. You know all these people that are clapping at these, conferences. I wonder if they know what they're actually clapping for. Because it just seems to me like little seals clapping for a fish. Right, we're going to go straight to the Taliban now. This is Nick Ferrari. This is Nick Ferrari talking about the Taliban. I'm just going to play this. Hopefully I'll get through it in one without stopping it.
So just to clarify, we have a Taliban commander's nephew who lied about his age when he got here, who was unable to work and we're paying through public funds, has successfully applied for 7 family members to join him from Turkey, none of whom can speak English, all of whom will be on benefits. A lawyer for the family argued the sisters were being threatened with forced marriage, and S's father faced retribution from his brother for not signing up to the Taliban. But don't worry, they'll all come here, all 8 of them, and they will be on our payroll, be on the taxpayers' payroll. Is it me, or is this completely nuts?
Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? So right now, your children, our children, my children have to, we will be forced into the military. We'll be forced to go and fight a war, potentially. My speculation in this video, of course, for TikTok is for entertainment purposes only. We'll be forced into a military. So we don't want Brits, Taliban. You know the meme where there's the guy and he's going like that, and then he's doing that. That is literally the United Kingdom right now. Guys, there is no other way around this. Dark forces are in control of the United Kingdom. And whatever is happening to the world, it is happening first in the United Kingdom, guys. We are in ground zero right now, ladies and gentlemen. Look, guys, sometimes I give that much information out. Sometimes I miss things that I've said previously. And I certainly missed that where I told you guys previously that, and I know I've done, because I've seen the guys in the comments when I've spoken about previously how the military is changing its structure to take mass training. I did that. I know I did that. You guys know I did that as well, because you guys have commented and said, yes, Sean, I remember you doing that video. So now it turns out the structure's in place. Oh, we just need the people now. Remember, it's never going to be, Keir Starmer is never going to come up there and say, all young people, you're now in the military. He's never going to say that. He's never going to say that. Remember, that is not the Fabian way. The Fabian way is to do it slow and gentle in the back door. That's the Fabian way, guys. The Fabian way. So for those who don't know, General Fabian was a Roman general, and rather than fight, so the Roman general Fabian, rather than just get full frontal and smash it in the front door and just deal with the consequences, Fabian, he was a little bit sneaky. He used to slip it in the back door. He used to fight the little battles in the back passageways that that people didn't understand, that people didn't even know were there. And that's how the Fabians slip in. Right, let me get these comments, guys, and then I'll go on to I'll give you guys the Star Wars analogy in a minute. My father sells Savon. My father sells Avon. My father sells Avon is saying Starmer failed to explain the need for digital ID. He's just the puppet, the scapegoat. Guys, look, the crux of this video, I don't believe there's any other way around this now. I don't believe there's any other way of just explaining what's happening in the United Kingdom right now other than dark forces are in control. That is the only way I can describe this, guys. It really is. If you want to try and make sense of what's happening in the United Kingdom, it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. If you change your filters a little bit, change your cognitive filters and think, right, okay, what if dark forces are in charge? You're like, boom, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense right now in the United Kingdom. I don't know any other way of describing it, guys. Jay Poochie's saying, so what are they saying? Only British whites on benefits will get dragged into the army, no other nation. Do you know what? I don't even know. I think that it would be well, you've got to understand this. So Jay Poochie, right, where do I go? How do I answer this? Okay, so Jay Poochie is saying, so are they saying only white British children on benefits will be dragged into the military? Okay, I'm going to answer this question by giving you a little monologue about some things I've said previously. European culture is to expand. That's European culture, guys. And the problems that we have in the world today is because there's nowhere left to expand into. Antarctica, Antarctica off the cards, but there's nowhere else to expand into. So for Europeans, for European culture, we have nowhere to put. We have got nowhere to go anymore. We've got nowhere to go. We're like, oh, do we go? Oh, there's people there, right? Do we go? No, there's people. Right, okay. Oh, we can't go there. And the problem is, because of that, European culture, we're kind of like the vanguard without any further exploration details. So as soon as we can get into space and start doing space exploration and space traveling, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine, guys. I promise you. As soon as we go into space, wars will stop. We'll stop fighting each other because everybody will have their place. Europeans can go into space. Asians can make stuff. Black people can do whatever Africans do. People from the Middle East, they can pray 5 times a day and everybody will be happy. But until then, we have this mess to deal with right now, guys. And that's all we have. It's just a mess to deal with. Right, let me just jump up, guys. Scottish Last Jack. Hello, Scottish Last Jack is saying digital ID will probably be used for rations in World War III, and anybody off fighting age will be conscripted. Yeah, I mean, let's not try and sugarcoat this, guys. Let's not sugarcoat how draconian Keir Starmer was during the COVID region. Let's not try and sugarcoat it, guys. I don't think I've ever seen a more draconian man than Keir Starmer during the COVID period. Now, I don't know whether that was because that's genuinely like how he is, or whether someone behind the scenes was pulling the strings. And look, guys, when you subvert someone, I'm not going to go into subversion, but when you subvert someone, they don't. The best way to subvert someone, you can blackmail someone. That kids can. Blackmailing is for children. Subversion is for adults. When you subvert someone, the beauty about subversion is they don't actually know they've been subverted themselves. They just believe their ideals and their politics and their ethics. They believe so well in themselves that they're not going to listen to anyone else. And that is the beauty of subversion. And I believe Keir Starmer, I believe Keir Starmer has been subverted. I believe this started in 1986 when he went to Czechoslovakia. I've done videos on that, guys. We will, and people are starting to catch up with this now. Other people are starting to place this on mainstream media. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, right, listen, guys, the crux of this video is, hang on. Gareth is saying Putin orders biggest autumn army call-up since 2016. Right, hang on, let me Google this. Wow. Yep, 49 minutes ago. 49 minutes ago. Thank you for that, Gareth, mate. Right, guys, a little bit of breaking news. 49 minutes ago, Putin orders largest autumn army call-up since 2016. Kremlin launches. Wow, these numbers are phenomenal, guys. These numbers are phenomenal. Kremlin launches military conscription for 135,000 men. Wow. 100. So look, guys, when we talk about the war in Russia with Ukraine, honestly, guys, look, there isn't anybody you see on the TV, on mainstream media. In fact, everybody you see on mainstream media, unless they're saying exactly what I'm saying about this conflict, they are wrong. Wrong, diddly strong, wrong. Don't know what they're talking about, reading off a piece of paper. Some half-baked colonel with no experience trying to tell you what he thought he knew. That's my little nursery rhyme, guys. If you've never heard the Raven nursery rhyme, look, guys, the numbers here are phenomenal. How many times, guys, put it in the chat again. How many times have I said, how many times have I been sat here and I have said, we are heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. Industrial scale. Industrial scale, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what's coming. So Putin, right, from the Telegraph right now, guys, this is not my speculation, this is not my analysis, this is not my opinion. I'm reading this off the mainstream media. Putin orders largest autumn army call-up since 2016. 135,000 men. Just to put that into context, the British Army complete, I think it's 80,000. Do you know what, actually, I think it's less. Let me Google this. No, sorry. As of January, sorry. No, guys, I was wrong. I hold my hands up, guys. I was wrong. As of the 1st of January, 2025, the British Army comprises of, you might need a stiff drink, 73,847. So that's the British Army, right? So the British Army now, complete rank and file, is 73. Let's call it 74,000. Just we'll round it up, because if I'm saying 73,847, it's a bit, and the number, and and obviously that number will have changed. So let's just round it up to 74,000. All right. Putin is conscripting 135,000 without even breaking a sweat. Yeah, we need another 135,000. Boom, there you go. There's your 135,000. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that phrase, because you know what? Do you know what's going to happen? When this starts, the mainstream media, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, the mainstream media will start saying, oh, this is a global conflict of an industrial scale. This is what people don't understand, guys. The industrialization of war. And these half-baked colonels, generals, so-called military experts that get up there. Yes, I've got an Oxbridge accent, and I'm, I've got an Oxbridge accent, and I did 6 years at Sandhurst, and I learned some very, very terrific things. Shut up, lunatic. You didn't learn from the ground up. You learned from the top down, which means nothing. So here we have it, guys. Breaking news as of the last 30, what did we say? No, it was 40, actually. I can't remember. Like, within the last hour, Putin orders the largest autumn army call-up since 2016. 135,000 men. Guys, I'm going to give you this analogy again. I've given this analogy so many times. All you guys who are putting in the comments here, all you guys who are putting in the comments, yeah, the British military's got better technology, NATO technology. Stop. You don't understand the bigger picture. Look what's just happened in Swindon. Look what's just happened in Swindon, guys. You don't attack people where they're strong. You attack them where they're weak. Asymmetric warfare, grey warfare, non-conventional warfare. The head of MI5 today came out and said, those people who think we're at war with Russia may be right. He's obviously following my page. He is, clearly. When I've given you guys this analogy of the football teams, guys, just go with me. I know I've given this a few times, but if you've not heard this analogy before, please, guys, understand this analogy right now. Tell this to your friends. You know your friends who are saying, yeah, but the Russian... Blah, 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 blah. Give them this analogy, all right? 2 football teams, all right? 2 football teams. They're going to play a game. On one side, you have you choose the best 11 players, any timeline, the best 11 players the world has ever produced. Get me the best 11 players, whoever they are, the best strikers. I'm not really into football. Whatever. Give me the best 11 players. At their prime, all right? At their prime. Give them the best kit and equipment, the best training, the best food, everything the best. They're the perfect team. They're the perfect, the best the world has ever provided. Their opponent is 1,000 people. Of those 1,000 people, some of them are in shoes, some of them are in trainers, some of them are in jeans, some of them are in suits, some of them are in shorts. But there's 1,000. Okay, who's got the best team? This team. That is the best team, 100%. Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net more? This team, because there's 1,000 of them. And this is what people don't realize. Your half-baked colonels, generals, brigadiers, they don't know what they're talking about, guys. They really don't. I do. I've been out there on the front line in Ukraine. I've dealt with NATO at the very highest echelons of NATO. I understand all the strengths and all the weaknesses of both sides. And when it comes to a slugging match, a long, drawn-out war of attrition, initially, in the initial phases of this conflict, it will be very one-sided for NATO. And if NATO minus the United States, and if NATO minus the United States can manage to push up and do the deal within 2-3 months, fair play. But I don't think they're gonna, guys. I don't think they're gonna. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I was going off on a topic. I went off on a side quest there, didn't I? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've almost been on half an hour and I've not asked you guys to do this. Could you please like, comment, subscribe, bell notification? If you're watching on TikTok, can you hit the buttons up there, guys? The follow buttons, those buttons really help me out. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit those buttons down below, guys. Remember, we are triple streaming today, guys. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, and we are on X. I'm going to close this video down on TikTok. I'll then go over to YouTube. We will continue this live stream on YouTube. And do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I think I deserve a glass of wine. So I will be getting myself a glass of Ravens Reserve. I'll be getting myself a glass of Ravens Reserve. Right. Candy Rocks. Right. Hang on. Right. Candy Rocks has just put something here. Hang on. Right, Candy Rocks has just put, Sean, are the subs still £9.10? I don't know where that number's come from. I honestly don't know where that number's come from. That's something TikTok have done. Go and show your support on YouTube, because I'm getting so angry with TikTok at the moment. I don't know where that 9.10 is, Candy. I really don't. I don't know where that comes from. I really don't. I've never put that in the thing. When I looked, my thing is still the lowest it can be. I don't know where that comes from. So I can only apologize and say it's got nothing to do with me. James here is saying massive attack on Kiev last night. Yeah, there was. And the night before, I lost stuff in that attack. I did. I lost stuff in that attack. I've still got stuff out in Kiev. For those of you who don't know, I used to run a company out in Ukraine. We had I think we had 100, just shy of 160 people working for us. Lots of stuff out there, lots of infrastructure. I got sent pictures to one of the storage places, and some of my stuff got it's broken now. Well, do you know what? I'm going to say my stuff. I'm not going to tell you who. I'm just going to say some of the stuff that we work with got destroyed on that live, on that. Strike. And for the person who owns that stuff, it's real bad, guys. You know, a good friend of mine owned a lot of stuff that got destroyed in that strike, and I'm not going to tell you what, but where I used to work in Kiev. I can't give too much away, guys. I can't give too much away. Basically, you know, right, hang on a minute. Pam's just right, guys. If you're on TikTok, can you read Pam's comment there? I don't know what this means, guys. Go to guys. Yeah. I don't know how this is working. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it myself. I don't know how it's working. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, dark forces in the United Kingdom right now. There's no other way to describe this. If you guys watch the Labour conference in Liverpool today, the best way for me to describe this is on Star Wars. I'm going to play this for you guys now. I'm going to play this for you.
What's happened?
The Chancellor's been elaborating on a plot by the Jedi to overthrow the Senate.
So this is like Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer saying, we will crush the right wing. We will crush Nigel we have foiled the plot by Nigel Farage to take over the government. And the remaining right wing will be hunted down and destroyed.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first empire.
So this is what they're saying: for safety and security, to keep everyone safe, we have to have digital ID. We have to bring in this digital identification to keep everyone safe and secure, because you're not safe because you don't have digital ID. And everybody's clapping. Oh, what a brilliant thing we're doing. Now, listen to this bit, guys, because this really is how democracy dies.
So this is how liberty dies. With fingers closed.
That is what I feel like is happening right now, guys. Everybody at this Labour conference clapping. Oh, Rachel Reeves. Oh, brilliant. You're going to give young people paid work. Oh, what a fantastic job. Yeah, get them out to that meat grinder. Get them in that meat grinder. We oil the jaws of the war machine and feed it with our babies. That's where we're going, guys. That is where we are going. Do you know what? It's not where we're going. It's where we are. It's where we are. That is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'm going to jump over and get onto. Onto YouTube. Right, Alex. Oh, Alex is just saying. Well, I'm not going to tell you what Alex is saying because he's using a rude word. But I don't swear. I don't often swear, guys. But Alex is swearing, and he's saying a swear word and digital ID. From now, he's saying, Raven, did you know that UK Defence Secretary suggested that bosses should encourage their staff to join the army? Give over. That can't be right. Right, I'm not saying that... okay, but I'm not casting doubt on this, but just a comment over from YouTube right now is saying, did you know the UK Defence Secretary has suggested that bosses should encourage their staff to join the army? Army reserves. Right, let me Google this. Wow. Guys, I'm missing so much. Thank you so much from now. Yeah. An article here from the Telegraph. Wow. Guys, this totally went over the top of my head. Bosses should urge workers to join the army, says Defence Secretary. Appeal to employers to encourage staff to play their part for the nation. Guys, you don't believe me? Don't believe me? Absolutely fine. Don't believe me, guys? That is absolutely fine. Go check it out for yourself. Article from the Telegraph, 27th of September, 8:59. It was PM. That's when it was released. Go and check that mother out for yourself. Wow. Look, guys, and you know, when you see all these little chess pieces moving into place, first of all, it started with a conscription. Remember, it's never going to be called conscription, guys. It will never, ever in a million years be called conscription. When, months back, I gave a speech, I gave a live stream, and I was saying, right, guys, I've been hearing from some people on the ground that are in the military, and they're telling me how they've restructured the training facilities in the military. Now, I've done training with military. I'm quite competent in that sphere. When they told me how they changed, when they told me how they changed the, when they told me how they changed the structure, and I was like, the only way you would change it is if you were gonna accept lots of recruits. Initially, I was like, right, well, are they going to take more Ukrainian recruits? Are they going to take migrants? That's what I was initially thinking. But that restructuring has already been done. Nobody talked about it. I can guarantee you guys, I was the only one who was talking about this. Nobody else talked about it because nobody else understands where that leads. Nobody else has been speaking about this, guys. I can guarantee I'm like through the whole of the internet, guys, I'm the only person who was talking about that. And if that's not the right time to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, buttons down below, up above, all those things that help this channel out, guys, I don't know what is. Then we get Rachel Reeves announcing they're going to be offering paid work to unemployed youths. And if they don't accept those roles, they're not going to get any free money. So here's going to be the reality for some kids, guys. And look, I don't hide it at all, and I'm proud of the fact that I joined the military. I joined the military at 16. Just a kid, far too young in my opinion, but I did. You know, I left home at 16 at Rotherham train station. You know, my mum, my granddad, it was the first time I saw him cry. I got on the train to Lichfield. That was it. Job done. What I'm seeing now is this pathway right now, guys, this path and this direction of travel. So a lot of kids are going to be faced with this decision. You either join the army or you live in poverty, or you don't get any free money. That is literally going to be the decision. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, but nothing will be announced. Nothing will be announced. What they will do is they will say, the government, they will say, right, they will hail this plan initially, and they'll do some headliners first. They'll get some positive media. They'll say, oh yeah, we're offering lots of jobs to young people, architects, doctors, engineers, scientists. Well, you can't have any of those jobs because we've got a load of those. They've just come over on the boats. But you guys are going to get great jobs, you know, great jobs as apprentices in whatever industry. You know, you're going to get jobs in legal firms, and there'll be incentives to take these people. And that will be the first step. The second step, through the back door, and we love it through the back door, guys. The second step through the back door will be when everybody's forgot about that after a couple of months and people are not talking about it anymore. It'll just be, yeah, the military does that as well. What? Somebody? No, nothing. What? You just say the military's no. Racist, far right, racist. Oh, right, okay, sorry, I'll shut up. And then you get the military, and then what will happen is they will say, right, and this is why this is how I'm tying these things together. And then the government will say, right, what we want you to do now is we want you to encourage people to join the army, and then they'll just dwindle the other jobs and expand the military jobs. And people won't think about it for months. This will go on, maybe even a couple of years. Which brings me to the article that was just shared with me. Bosses should urge workers to join the army, says Defense Secretary. Appeal. Look, guys, I'm reading this off the mainstream. This is not fake news. I'm reading this, all right? Appeal to employers to encourage staff to play their part for the nation. Their part in what? Their part in what? What's he talking about? Their party what? I actually do like John Healey, guys. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I do actually like John Healey. Right, where are we going with this? Right, let me get some more of the comments, guys. Okay. Matt is saying we need to glamorize masculinity. We need strong males with morals. We need self-defense at schools, then army after. Our women will be safe. Crime will be lower. People will have more confidence. I don't think, you're right. Although I don't think we need to glamorize masculinity. I think masculinity will deal with itself. We need to stop overtly degrading masculinity, because there is nothing, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you this, there is no problem in this world or any other world that Western men cannot solve. I'll say that again, in case you think I'm being a little bit, in case you're going to label me with racist, I'll say it again. There is no problem in this world or any world that Western men cannot solve. All problems have been solved by Western men. All problems have been solved by Western men, guys. They have. All innovations, technological advances, everything's being dealt with by Western men. That's the reality of the world, guys. And one of the problems is, like I kind of talked about this at the beginning, Western culture, Western men, we've kind of had, kind of been like, we've been shackled. We've been shackled. Claire is saying, none of these politicians think about the situation properly. They should think about whatever they bring in another government, add rules to it. Perhaps turn a nice plan to hell. yeah, I mean, we don't have democracy anymore, guys. You know, the crux of this video. So what Claire's saying here is none of the politicians think about the situation properly. So that it does look like there's chaos in the United Kingdom until you consider that dark forces are in control, and then everything seems to make sense. It's a dog's life. He's saying, Raven, did you see who's funding you? Multiverse, EU, European Commission, and World Economic Forum. Political nerds YouTube channel vids called You Don't Know the Full Story. She researched the info. Right, I am going to have to look into this. I did a brief look at this, like a tiny little brief, like a scrape, while we was on the live stream. I couldn't really find any. I couldn't find the connection between multiverse and digital ID. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I couldn't see that connection. Freddie is saying Russia warns of escalation risk if US sends Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. So Tomahawk missiles are very potent, guys. They've got a huge range. You know, they've got real good accuracy. I think it's Raytheon. Yeah, I think it's Raytheon who build Tomahawks. You know, they're expensive missiles. They've got a long range. They can, you know, they're ground-to-ground missile systems. They can pretty much, well, I guess, the ground-to-ground, yeah, surface-to-surface missiles. Slim is saying, right, I'm not going to repeat what Slim is saying. That will get me banned on YouTube and on TikTok. And to that end, ladies and gentlemen, I will be jumping over. I will be closing this live stream down pretty soon on TikTok. I'll then be jumping. In fact, you know what? I might actually do it now. Why do I always wait for an hour? No, I will keep it on a little bit longer. Right, guys, listen, I am going to close this live stream down on TikTok in a minute, guys. Before the hour, I guess. I'll then go over to YouTube and we'll continue the live stream on YouTube. Emma Green is saying, I wonder who would be the next Vera Lynn. She was that singer, wasn't she? She was like the Force's sweetheart. I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know. Maybe that girl who sang Keir Starmer Granny Harmer, or maybe I don't know. Ellie Goulding? I don't know. Oh, hang on. Right, sorry guys, I'm just going up through these comments here. Freddie is saying GPs in England threaten action over online appointment booking plans. Guys, have you had to book an appointment at the doctor's lately? Oh God, I had to do it. We have to go through our doctor to book onto the dentist, and honestly, I had to book for one of the girls today. She's got like she's had like the teeth, two of the teeth. It's not relevant, but two of the teeth came out, and I've got to book her in for a checkup. And honestly, like it's soul destroying. You've got a phone up at 8 o'clock, and you're just ringing forever. It's literally ringing forever. So like at 8. So here's the thing, right? If you're phoning up and you've got kids, that at like 8 o'clock in the morning is prime getting them in their uniforms and getting them out the door. So you're on the phone, and you honestly, guys, like I don't know how. people with genuine illnesses. I don't know how you guys can do it. I really don't. I take my hat off to you. And again, it just brings further weight to the argument that this stuff needs to be privatized. Weasel Von Diesel on YouTube is saying, did you see Susan Reed and Reeves' interview? It's comedy gold. I thought she was going to short circuit. It was the comment of, if I answer your question, it will lead to another question. Look, guys, the government, yeah, so again, these Weasel Von Diesel, it doesn't make sense, does it? Until the penny drops and you understand that dark forces are in control of the United Kingdom, guys. That is the reality. Dark forces are in control, guys. They really are. Right, I'm going to get the last comments on YouTube. I'm going to get the last comments on TikTok, guys. I will then close TikTok down. I'll go and grab a bottle of wine, and then we will be on YouTube, and I'll have a glass of wine if I can find my stopper. I may get a glass of wine if I can find my stopper. Gentle Giant is saying Rachel Reeves is AI in disguise. You know what? You know how she's got like the haircut that's like the block? It wouldn't surprise. In fact, guys, have you seen the 90s movie Witches? Hang on, let me Google this right now. No, it's not Witches. It's not Witches. Yes, it is Witches. Yes, it is Witches. Have you seen the movie Witches? It was released in 1990. Guys, I promise you, go and look at the movie The Witches and look at the main witch. It is literally a spitting image of Rachel Reeves. Let me Google this again. Sorry, I did the wrong thing. They like turn this boy into a mouse. Yeah, that is that is her, guys. Angelica Huston. Angelica Huston and Rachel Reeves are a spitting image, guys. They are an absolute spitting image. The hair, the face, the persona, absolutely everything, guys. It's crazy, crazy. Sorry, guys, I went off on another side quest. Right, let me get the rest of these comments. Snowball is saying, I hate that film. It's a scary film, guys. It's quite dark. Darren is saying, I got autoimmune condition and need to go to the GPs, and I seen such deterioration from 5 years ago. Yeah, I had I was doing some roof repairs. I got a piece of OSB in my eye. Absolute agony. I managed to drive myself to the doctors. To the hospital. I looked in with my one eye. It was very difficult because I didn't want to. I didn't want to sit there because, like, it was full of. It was just full. Rotherham Hospital, guys, and you can imagine the type of people that were in Rotherham Hospital. I was like, right, I'm going home. So I went home and I had to pull my eyelid out. It was agony, guys. Absolute agony. If any of you guys are in the building trade and you've ever had a piece of OSB in your eye, it's horrific. So I had to pull my eyelid out. It was agony. Stick my finger up. I thought, right, Sean, do it right and do it once, do it right. I got my finger up as hard as I could, and I went all the way around my eye like that, and it had gone. Honestly, guys, do not wear eye protection. Moral of the story. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be closing this down on YouTube and jumping over to I'm not going to be closing this down on YouTube at all. I'm going to be closing this down on TikTok. Then I will be jumping over to YouTube. Last few comments. Gentle Giant is saying Rachel the wig. Candy Rocks is saying, wasn't she Morticia too? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Gareth 333 breaking. President Trump says plan calls for the creation of a board of peace to include Tony Blair. Wow. Look, guys, look, this is my opinion, speculation, and analysis. There's going to be no peace in the Middle East. I just don't. I'll talk about the Middle East, guys, when we jump over to YouTube. But I was going to go on a monologue there about how people in the culture in the Middle East is totally different to the culture over here in the West. In the Middle East, people are very tribal, you know, so it doesn't matter what political system you're under. It matters what tribe you're in. And by tribe, I don't mean like Zulu tribes or anything. I mean like family, community, tribe, you know, that type of thing. So it doesn't really matter what the political system is in the Middle East. The Middle East is always going to be carnage, guys, because that's the way it's set up. All right, okay. So Angelica Houston was indeed Morticia. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'll be over on YouTube. I'll go and get a bottle of wine. I think I've deserved it today. Have a little glass of wine, and then we'll continue the live stream over on YouTube. If you've not followed me on YouTube, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. I will be continuing this over there. And if not, I will see you guys in the morning at 10. As always, guys, I'm on at 10 and 8. I'll see you later. Hang on. Right. Sometimes this has been... sometimes this doesn't let me close it down. Right. Yeah, I think it is. Am I closed? Yes. No, we're off. We're off. We are off. We're off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just streaming with you fine people on YouTube. Guys, dark forces are in control of the United Kingdom. I don't know any other way to say this, guys. You know, zero ways to frame what's going on in the United Kingdom right now, other than if you kind of accept that dark forces have taken control of government, and whether you, I'm not saying that it's some sort of like satanic cult, although that may be the case. What I'm saying is there's clearly forces behind the scene who are pushing an agenda, because nothing else makes sense. Nothing makes sense unless you say dark forces behind the scenes, and by dark I mean shadowy, but it could equally be occult and satanic, are pushing another agenda. And I think that is the absolute destruction of the United Kingdom. Right, give me a second, guys. Let me jump off screen a sec. Do you know what I found, guys? Do you know what I found? Well, first of all, I found that in many jobs, it helps me to be drunk. But I found one of my first bottles of wine I did. Look at that bad boy. How powerful is that? Can you imagine how powerful I'm going to feel when I start drinking this? Because that's how we roll, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we roll. That's how we roll. I need a glass. Oh. I need to take the cork out first. Wine doesn't usually pour if you leave the cork in. Just a quick one for you guys. It doesn't usually. You know, especially where I'm from, you need to take the cork out first. Oh. Not too sure about this. Hmm. Well, let's give that a minute. I'll get some. Right, let me jump down, guys. Let me jump down. Lissu is saying vinegar. I hope not, because if it's vinegar, it means it's oxidized. The Daily Express said Rachel Reeves sounded like a robot and a Dalek today. It did make me laugh. Look, guys, I don't want to keep saying this. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense anymore unless you know how people used to think that the sun orbited the earth and nothing made sense. The planets and everything, nothing made sense, and people couldn't what's happening in the universe until they were like, well, hang on a minute. How about we put the sun in the middle? A heliocentric model. And everything made sense. That's kind of the same thing that's happening here, guys. You know, nothing's making sense unless you consider that dark forces behind the scenes are are in control. They're making the decisions. They're pushing. They're driving. They're making things happen. And everything else is just dragging along. And we're all here thinking, oh, but Keir Starmer said this. No. Keir Starmer didn't say anything. He's a gopher. Rachel Reeves said, no. Rachel Reeves is not in control. So then the next logical question is, who is? Henderson is saying prison hooch. Don't they make that in the toilet with don't they make prison hooch in the toilet? Right, I'm gonna have a crack. It didn't. I think it might have been the top of the bottle. Like I said, that is an old bottle, guys. That is a really old bottle. Oh no. God, that's good. Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, I nailed that one. Yeah, I nailed it. Yeah, forget everything I said, guys. That is absolutely gorgeous. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. I remember this particular one. I added a little bit of extra sugar, and it's slightly, the strength was quite high. I think it's like 14 or 15%. And I added a little bit more sugar to the batch once it had finished fermenting to give it that sweeter, almost porty taste. And then I think I had it on oak, sat on oak chips for 3 months something before I bottled it. The smell must have just been on the top of the bottle. But no, thankfully not prison hooch. Positive program, he's saying you're entertaining. Listen, guys, we're talking about dark forces taking over the government. We're talking about conscription. We're talking about the end of the world as we know it, because it is. Guys, this is the end of the world as we know it. Be under no illusion. Be under no illusion right now. The world is changing beyond recognition. Wow, that is good. Oh. Trevor Pitchard is saying, I'm on the South African Western Cape, 13.5%. Lisa Jane is saying, Rachel Reeves cannot string a sentence together without saying the word And this is what I mean. You know, like, look, guys, I've been in the military. I've been in the private industry, the private sector, you know. And if I was in a meeting with Rachel Reeves, you sat there in a meeting with Rachel, and I don't mind if women are there in these meetings. I prefer women not to be in these meetings. I would rather look, guys, I'll be honest with you. You know, the best boss I've ever worked for is a woman. I'm not going to mention her name. The best boss I have worked for, without a shadow of a doubt, she is head and shoulders above everyone else. It was a woman, and she was like a rock and roll. She was like absolutely rock and roll. She let people play to their strengths. She didn't micromanage, and she helped out. Best boss I've ever worked for. In general, that woman, those type of women are like unicorns. You don't come across them often. Her, beautiful lady. So in general, if I'm going into a meeting and I'm sat across from like a load of women and DEI hires, I work with a good team. I'm not going to tell you what I was going to tell you. Do you know what I am? I'm going to give you a watered down version. All right, I'm going to give you a watered down version. One of my partners I work with, it was at a hotel. He was trying to book into a hotel, and he speaks, I think he speaks like 5 languages, and he's trying to book into this hotel. And the woman behind the counter, I'm going to give you the watered down version. She was like arguing with him, and then he said to her, "Stop! I want to speak to a man." And she said, "What?" He said, "I'm not interested in anything you've got to say. I want to speak to a man." And she got upset, so he stormed off. They wouldn't open the barrier for him, so he smashed through the barrier at this hotel. Really expensive hotel. That's the watered down version. But, you know, like, and this is from experience, guys. This is from experience. If you go to a meeting and everybody who sat across from you look like DEI hires, you know, blue hair, piercings all over their faces, and they're all dead woke, I don't have it. I had an investor. I was asking for 1.2 million. And this was right at the beginning of COVID. And he was saying, "Yeah, we like your product, Sean. We like what you're doing, blah, blah, blah." And he wanted a sales chart. And I just thought, I'm not doing a sales chart. It's so absurd. I will try and sell as much as I can, but I can't give you a sales projection. You can't do that in my industry. You just can't give a sales projection. So he asked me for the sales. So he said, "Sean, do you have a sales projection?" And I just flashed. I said, "Actually, this is the guy, all right? He's got blue hair, a guy with blue hair and like a dicky bow. That's the guy who I had to deal with. This is the same kind of guy who's saying, oh, I'm not going to tell you what he said because it would tell you what industry I'm in. But I said to it, he asked me for the sales chart, and I said to him, "Well, do you know what? I think a better investment for you would be McDonald's." I said to him, I said, "I think you're better off putting your money in McDonald's." I said, "They will give you all the sales charts, all the sales projections. It will be in branded McDonald's stuff. You can open franchises up." And I said, "I think that's a better investment for you." I said, "I don't want to work. I'm good. I'm out." And he was like, "What?" I said, yeah, I'm out." And he was like, "Oh, well, this has never happened before." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And now I'm on YouTube and TikTok and X giving you guys life lessons and updates at my own leisure. Anyway, that was a side quest. Right, guys, lots of things going on. Silly is saying, oh, and she's talking from, hang on. Okay, so Silly's talking to Emma about, yeah, look, guys. So, okay, so Silly's in Israel, all right, and forgive me if I'm speaking out of term. If you start negotiating, this is the Israeli government stance, and as brutal as it is, guys, I think it's the right, in this context, I think it's the right one. If you start negotiating for hostages and start paying for hostages, they will take more hostages. I promise you guys. If you start negotiating with terrorists, they will take more hostages. So can I mention them? There's a country I know that were operating in Afghanistan. Right, guys, I've got to be careful what I'm saying here. Okay, so when I was operating in Afghanistan, if the British military found out any British citizens had been taken hostage, being captured, the British military would go and bust them out. Helicopters landing, guns blazing, all sorts of crazy stuff would happen. And those hostages would get recovered. And those people who had taken those hostages, it wasn't a good day for those. That's how the Brits dealt with things back then. I don't know how they deal with them now. There was a country, I'm not going to mention the country, but they started paying for their hostages to get released. Oh, no, we don't want to come in guns blazing. Oh, no, we don't want to come in guns blazing. Oh, no, we'll just pay you. We'll just pay you guys. Guess what happened? Every time the bad guys got a British person and they're like, right, we're going to take this person hostage, like, whoa, that person's British. Leave them. Why? Well, you take a Brit, like helicopters, airstrikes, guns blazing, people parachuting in, and certain bad things happen to us. What we're going to do is we're going to find the paying customer. So we're going to find people of that nationality that will pay. And it's people don't understand this. People don't understand this. It's very easy to take the easy road, obviously. Templar Matt is saying, what's taking Israel so long? The Gaza Strip is the size of Scarborough. Templar Matt, have you been to Scarborough lately? I think it would take the British military a long time to get through Scarborough. Freddie is saying gold punches through 3,800 an ounce as risk of US shutdown rattles markets. Do you know what, Freddie? It's funny you mentioned that. Me and my sister were going to go to there's a goldsmith in Sheffield. Me and my sister were going to go to Sheffield I think we was going to go today, actually, but we didn't have time. We was going to go to Sheffield and look at buying some gold bullion. But yeah, I agree. The price of look, guys, when the price of gold goes up and up, and I think it's going to go even higher. When the price of gold goes up, that's because people with money are uncertain, and people that need to put their money somewhere. Right, I can't have it in the bank because it's going to get taxed. I can't have it in stocks and shares because I don't know which way those stocks or shares are going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy gold. It's secure. It's safe. I've got it here in my hand. I'm going to put that in my safe. I'm going to put that in my safe. Everything's good. We're good, fam. We're good, fam. Put the gold in the basement. Galloway Ryder is saying Labour and the socialist influencers have been destroying the British military for decades. Yes, they have. Absolutely. And they have almost succeeded. Yeah, you know what? We spoke about this earlier, didn't we? Russia let me get this up. Russia are mobilizing 135,000 men. The British military, as of the 1st of January, stands at 74,000, just less, 74,000. You know, so almost, so the Russians, just as a little, you know, a little boost to personnel, are dragging almost double what the British military have right now. Phenomenal numbers, guys, phenomenal numbers. And when I keep saying, you know, we're heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale, this is what I mean. This wine's real good, guys. Oh. Oh, God, that is real good. I wish you guys could taste this. Hang on. The Exile, he said, do you mean George Galloway? Do you mean George Galloway? I've listened to a few of his videos. Okay, so I've listened to a few of George Galloway's videos where he's talking about Ukraine, the military, and he is so wrong. So wrong. But the way he projects himself, it's with an air of this, it's like this air of confidence. But I can tell you that most of the stuff he said about Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, how the militaries are running, how the militaries are operating, it's wrong. It's just didactically, not didactically incorrect. It's just factually incorrect. You know, so yeah. So I don't know about the other topics he talks on. That's if you're talking about George Galloway. Natalie Unwin is saying, George Galloway, isn't he the cat from Celebrity Big Brother? Yeah, so, yeah, how did I miss this? So, I can't take anyone seriously who pretends to be a cat. No, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I mean, pretend to be a gorilla. You know, if you're going to pretend to be an animal in the Big Brother house, pretend to be a gorilla. Run around, smash it, bash it, beat on your chest. Pretend to be a gorilla. Don't pretend to be a cat. That is literally what pussies do. Oh, Google it. You're putting something in the comments there, mate. I can't. I having two girls. I can't even talk about that. When I see that word, it's just. Demery X is saying, what about Trump and Bibi Netanyahu? Will there be any action this Friday or next? There's always a surge. Yeah, there is always a surge. These things always happen on a Friday. I don't know. It's not that it's not when I say that, it's not always 100%. It's not always guaranteed, but normally, if there is going to be something, it will be a Friday after those two people meet. I can remember when you guys were saying, Sean, when's this airstrike going to go in? When's this airstrike going to go into Syria? Not Syria, Iran. And I was like, guys, listen, I'm going to go against what I normally say. It's very difficult. You guys can remember when I said, I think if it's going to go in, I think it's going to go in on Saturday. And guess what? It went in on Saturday. Yeah, the formula is correct and it's sound. Whether something happens or not, I don't know. Henderson is saying currently gold mines are on very low production or even closed, and it's an inflation hedge which drives up the price. But there is plenty of gold, don't be fooled. Gold coming out of our ears. Yeah, I used to I'm not yeah, I know a guy who runs a gold mine, believe it or not, in Afghanistan, and he's on a ton of money. Nikki Bishop is saying if you dressed up as a gorilla, you would be called. They would call you a racist. No. I don't mean dress up as a gorilla. I mean just like bounce about, smashing shit up, bashing my chest, knocking people out the way, and being the daddy alpha of that group in the Big Brother house. Silly Gallardi is saying this Wednesday is going to be interesting. The flotillas will arrive to Gaza. It's also Yom Kippur. What's Yom Kippur, Silly Gallardi? I don't know what Yom Kippur is. I'm assuming that's a Jewish holiday. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, if you're joining for the first time, the crux of this video, I've kind of been off on a little side quest. The crux of this video is I don't see any other way around this, guys, right now. The only way you can make sense of what's happening in the United Kingdom is that dark forces in fact, you know what? Let's get that video up. Is that? I think this is it. Is that it? Is that it? Hang on. Sorry, guys. I'm miles away. Right, I think it's this one. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get a YouTube video up. Give me a second. No, it's definitely not it. Oh, I can't find it. Yeah, there was a video I played earlier on, and sorry, guys, I've just got updates come up here. Yeah, there was a video I played earlier, and it's from. Can I share it on this page? Give me a second. There's a video on that I shared earlier about Star Wars, and it's showing how the how basically the Emperor takes over. Senator Palpatine, the Dark Lord, the Emperor, how he takes over, and he's saying we're going to provide security and freedom, and for everyone, and that's how they bring this in, and that's how they like crush this in. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down now, actually. I've just realized the time. It's getting far too late for me. In fact, you know what? I'm going to finish this glass of wine, which is fantastic. We'll talk. The crux of this video has been, the next time you see a crazy, the next time you see a crazy announcement. Oh, hang on. Trump and Netanyahu give speech, Trump and Netanyahu agrees to Trump's Gaza peace plan. I don't think there's going to be a peace plan at all, guys, there. Oh, that was 5 hours ago. That's old news. So when you look at what's happening in the United Kingdom right now, and it doesn't make sense, take a step back and think, right, okay, let's just pretend for a minute that Rachel Reeves is not in charge of finance. Wes Streeting's not in charge of the National Health Service. Keir Starmer's not in charge of the country. That there are dark forces in control behind the scenes. Then everything starts to make sense, guys. It really does. And whatever's happening for the rest of the world, I've got to, you know, I do think Britain is ground zero. Now, energetically, I do think that's where it would start. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in Britain. I mean, you know, crop circles for one. You guys know I've talked about crop circles, witchcraft, the occult, alternate dimensions, all that stuff. I think it's connected in a way that I just don't understand with my primitive brain. But anyway, guys, maybe that's another live stream for another time. I'm going to leave this now, guys. I'll be back on at 10 in the morning. And I will, I'll be back on at 10 in the morning, guys. And I'll see you later.